to suffer for an end and earn. It's something that you get the instant you love yourself as God does. God loves to give to you. God loves to keep you healthy. God loves to make you prosperous. But if you won't allow yourself to receive, how can that happen? And who gets to be your benefactor sometimes? Your worst enemy, your ex or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you decide now to love yourself and allow yourself to receive, even from your worst enemy. Now you've got what you've needed and you've become friends with a former enemy. Two things are done. Now you've got your family back. How are you going to be happy? Keep your family together. And not just the kin that you're blood relatives to. Your family is the people sitting next to you in this congregation. It's the people that you laughed with earlier this morning. It's the people who are out at the park later this afternoon. One last thing I want to share with you is, and I talked about this last time I was here a couple of years ago. There's a video called The Human Family Tree. And basically what that video says, and it goes into minutia, which is wonderful, every male on this planet has the same Y chromosome. Every woman on this planet has the same mitochondria. And that all goes back to two people from South Africa that we're the offshoots of. Children's children's children. Our melanin changed as we went farther north. Our eye color changed when we were in different light sources. The group went up to the Middle East. They split. Some went to Europe, some went to China. The oceans were 350 feet shallower than they are today, and now they're rising again. You used to be able to walk from China over to the Aleutians all the way down to the end of South America. You used to be able to walk from Australia to New Zealand and all the Micronesians, which were then a landmass. Right? The human family spread out all over the globe. So there's not anybody in this room or on this planet that is not literally your brother or sister. That's family. That's where love hides and resides. You knock on the door, somebody moves into the neighborhood, you bring them a loaf of bread. It starts from there. Sometimes you don't get along. Hey, families have their ups and downs, but we're all kin to one another, which is really wonderful. Melchizedek talked about the principle of the law of one, which basically means there's only God, there's only good. We're all created out of oneness. We're all created out of perfection. I hope I've given you something to think about today and something to practice when you've got your private time. And I defy you to leave this building today and not look at every brother and sister out there and not know that that's not your kin. You may not like them all. That's your ticket back here. But it's an opportunity for growth, as we say. You know, really, really quite wonderful. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. You know, the first time I came here was in a dream. There used to be a pulpit here, and I had come, and I'd literally never been in this building ever before until, you know, months later. And I had this dream, and I was in the pulpit, and Linda Osborne was the minister at the time. This was many years ago. That's when this carpet got laid. And there was a woman sitting right here. Her name was Karen. She was a newly ordained priest. And Linda said, Dan, go behind you and put your hand on that panel. It's a secret door. Come with me. I don't know if it's open. Aha. That's how I found the door. So I came here and I told Linda the dream, and she said, Dan, go there and do that. Well, then I was preaching that Sunday, and Karen sat right there. Now, what do you do with that? There is no time, there is no space. There's only now. All right? It's love in action. You know, so I did my thing, and I've been coming here now for, God, well over 20-something years, you know. Another dream I had with that same doorway was I tried to go through there to get to the office, because that's what's behind there. There's an office on the other side of that. I didn't fit. I was too big. Got narrow and I couldn't fit. Years later, the church was going through all kinds of changes. I got a call late one night. Dan, would you consider being our pastor? I said, thank you, but I don't fit. And I didn't, and I don't. I was invited to take over the Edgar Cayce Foundation many years ago. I said, years before, my eye teeth would have been yours, not now. There's nothing right nor wrong with what's going on. I'm just not that space now. You know, it's a bigger space. So the Gospel of Thomas is going to be out in October. It's a different book from the first book. If you've read the first book, very different. It's not an academic treatise, thank God. It is spiritual inspiration for the Aquarian age. So we've taken the teachings of Jesus, if that's true. They've been interpreted spiritually. They've been embellished with sketches, because sometimes a picture says more than 1,000 words, or whatever that thing is. And so that will be available in addition to the first book that came out. And then the following year, there'll be a book about 130 true stories about Tom Sawyer, including how he prevented nuclear war, because had he not done that, you would not be in this room today. You would have already died from cancer, or from some cancerous material from nuclear waste. But because that man was here and has passed on now, he passed on April 28th, 2007, but because he came here and served out of love and compassion, that's why you're literally sitting in this room today. You know, that's God's love in action. Tom had to choose of free will to merge and become one with total knowledge, and commit his contract to be able to come back to prevent nuclear war in the Middle East, to teach people that death doesn't exist, and also to promote the priesthood. Because the priesthood of Melchizedek is very ancient. It goes way, way, way back, but it had become closed. It was patriarchal and controlled through aristocracies and monies and all that kind of thing. And God desired that it would be open. The very first priest that I ordained 30 years ago, a lovely African-American lady who now resides in Sedona, Arizona, African-American lesbian lady. I love you just the way you are. Her first book is being published this year. It's a book about her family when they were slaves at the end of the Civil War. Her family got up one day and decided to go to Ohio. They walked. No one followed them on horseback. Nobody shot at them. They just got up and left. The stuff she wrote about, no white person had ever heard before. Thank God it's coming out, you know. She's 87 years old, and there's hope for all of us. Her lover is about 49. I think she's laughing now. So I want to thank you for coming here today. It's a hot day, and I appreciate your patience and your listening. And for those of you who are here for the ceremony later, it starts at 1. There's a little bit of history. We're going to try to make it shorter because of the heat. Then there's an ordination ceremony. Each one is done individually. And then you're free to go. You know, hit the road. So thank you very much. I've appreciated your time and your patience and your laughter.